Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna talk one of the most talked topics here in Florida, and that's how to sell your house without having a real estate agent. Trying to save all those realtor fees, and I will guide you to a quick guide so you can determine whether or not you want to do that. Because let's say there are perks and cons having a realtor. If you are buying a property, that means that you are pretty much getting your realtor for free, and it will be a nonsense not to have one because he's gonna do all the work for you, right? He's gonna check the all the contracts. He's gonna go all over the paperwork. But when you're selling your property, that's a different ball game because you have to actually pay for the realtor fees because always the realtors are getting paid from the seller's proceeds. So I have a quick guide that I share with my potential clients. Even though they might not be my clients, I still want to help them. So maybe down the road they will realize that selling a home, it's not such a easy task to do because you are actually in competing with realtors and brokerages who have large amounts of money, who can spend on advertising, who can spend on beautiful pictures. You can do drone photography, so you can do Facebook ads and all that. So it might not be such a easy task to do that. So you know uh, in Florida, we have a lot of people that are trying to sell their homes for sale by owner. And usually homes here are selling between, it varies, but right now it's 2023, it's January, so the market is kind of shifting. So what we are seeing as a realtors, we are seeing houses are on the market for longer because there are not that many buyers right now. With the high interest rates and high houses and high prices that the properties have right now, it's very hard for some of the clients to get pre-approvals and get a house. So pretty much it might take you a little bit longer, but it's still possible. Very important thing is to price your house right. Now, how do you do that? So you can always use some of the internet providers like Zillow, Trulia, Redfin, Realtor, who have pretty much algorithms who will tell you how much your property will sell for. They're doing like a comparable market analysis from the properties right next to yours, and from that data they can pretty much determine how much your property is worth. Disclaimer: not always that data is going to be correct because it's only an algorithm. So there are a lot of things that has to be taken in consideration when you're doing a price analysis of your home. So what you can do is hire a appraiser. So the appraiser is a third party company that will send their appraiser, and he will do you know appraisal of your property. Why is that important? Well, it might cost you like $400 to $600 up front, but I will tell you why it's very important. Because once the property is on the market, you will have upfront knowledge how much the potential buyer could possibly spend for your home. Because if you price it too high, then you might have a potential buyer that wants to purchase your property, but once you put that property on the contract, and then his appraiser comes in, because his lender is going to send an appraiser, and if the appraised value is way lower than the agreed value, the one that you have on the contract, that means that he's gonna have to come up with all the difference from his pocket, or you have to renegotiate the price. You have to come down with price or maybe meet in the middle. So in order not to do that and avoid all those inconveniences, I highly recommend having a appraiser. So also very important thing is hiring a home inspector who will probably do a thorough inspection of your property, and in that way he will point out all the flaws or all the problems your property have. So maybe you will be able up front to fix those problems, and then will potentially increase the value of your property, because everybody that's buying a property, they want to be moving ready. And if it's a nice home, all the things that are pointed by the inspector will potentially lead to price negotiation, which you don't want as a seller of the property. So third very important thing is fill out the seller property disclosure forms. So by Florida law, every property owner and seller is obligated to fill in a property disclosures. That means you have to disclose all the necessary facts about that home that you're selling that might impact the current or future value of the home. And the thing is, if you are aware of those issues, you have to disclose that. Why? You might say, why would I disclose something that would potentially decrease the value of my home? But guess what? If for some reason down the road, let's say a year or a couple of years down the road, that new buyer and owner finds out that you had I don't know, let's say a plumbing problem, and your house got flooded, and you had plumbers all over the place, and they rebuilt something that you didn't disclose, they can actually sue you for that reason, and you might end up in legal suits, and honestly don't want to do that. Just be transparent upfront, and you will be a better seller, and you will have a better clients. They will be satisfied from their purchase. Very important thing is clean the house before you take any pictures, or you even make any open houses, or you put the house on the market. So put away everything that is unnecessary. Clean the garage, clean all the necessary things that pretty much declutter your house, make it more spacey, make it look more nice and more attractive to your potential buyers. That goes not only for inside but outside also, because the curb appeal is very important for so many buyers. And pretty much, if by some studies, they say that if the curb appeal looks nice and your home looks nice from outside, that might increase the value of your home between 7 and 10%, which is significant amount of money. So you might have to spend some money on fixing the cracks on the facade. Maybe you have to power wash the driveway, maybe cut the grass, do some landscaping and things like that. So, and do that before you do those pictures. The other thing is, when it comes to pictures, make sure you find a very good photographer that will make really nice light pictures that will present your home in a real beautiful bright light. So I know that today's phones, they have a very good cameras, so you can actually do that with your own camera. But make sure that all the rooms are very lit. Turn on all the lights. Put all the blinds all the way up, so you have as much as light as possible in your room, so the room looks nicer and spacious. So it will help selling your home. Like I said, price your home accordingly. Don't go too high, don't go too low. Price it accordingly. And what you want to do, just do comparable market analysis. If you don't want to call the appraiser to do that for you, just make sure that comparable market analysis you compare the similar homes that have similar features with yours, that have similar square footage, and you know they look pretty much similar to your home. So don't make any comparison with the house that sold next door that has one more bedroom or has a pool, and your house doesn't have a pool. You have to take those things in consideration when pricing your property right. So next thing that you gotta do is pretty much market your home to buyers. Now, this is where it comes very difficult to compete with realtors and brokerages. So, for example, if you decide to sell your home and put it for sale by owner on Zillow, you are restricting yourself and your property to be visible to so many potential buyers, because by some researchers there are 360 websites that are doing some sort of real estate, buying, selling, renting, and all that. So if you do just for sale by owner on Zillow, that means that you're restricting yourself to so many potential buyers. Let's say a potential buyer from New York, all right, who wants to buy a property in Florida. Do you think that they go on Zillow and look for sale by owner properties and try to connect with the seller directly? Or maybe they call their preferred real estate agent or a brokerage and they say, listen, I need a house that's in, let's say, price range for $400,000 to $500,000 with 3 bedroom, 2 baths, 2,000 square feet with a pool. The reason I'm saying that is the exposure and the amount of exposure that you're gonna have if you list your home to a realtor over listing it for yourself, by yourself on Zillow. It's huge. You can't even compare that. So you might be thinking, okay, I'm gonna sell my property for sale by owner by myself, and I'm gonna save pretty much between 4 and 6% in realtor fees. But on the other hand, the survey that has been done by National Association of Realtors, you might say it might be biased, but it is a survey that homes sold from a realtor and with a realtor usually sell between 7 and 10% higher than the homes that are sold for sale by owner. So, you take that in consideration, and on top of that, everything, all the work that I just told you that you have to do around the house and preparing the house and, getting it ready for listing, that's going to be done by your realtor and not by you. So, it might save you a lot of time and a lot of headaches. On top of that, once you start receiving offers, it's very important to have to be able to negotiate. So the thing is, when you are a single person, you don't have that experience when it comes to negotiating offers. But realtors, they do that on daily basis, so they have a little bit more experience. So make sure that you have a very good attorney, real estate attorney, who will go over for you with the contracts that you're going to receive, because there are some things in the real estate purchase agreement that if they're not checked or if it's not mentioned, you might end up paying a lot more money down the road after the closing is done. So if you want to avoid that, you're gonna have to spend some money around the real estate attorney. But trust me, that money is well worth it, and you will not, regret for all that. On top of that, right now, as I said, the market is kind of shifting. So it's not like you put your property on the market and you're getting 20 offers the first day. It's not going to happen right now. So we have so much less potential buyers at the moment. So you might have put some, contingencies, seller contingencies, which means you might have to, pay some, couple of percent of the down payment to your potential buyer. You might decrease the price of your property. So make sure you kind of educate yourself what you're doing and how you can do that in order to make it right and not do any big mistake. One thing that you have to be aware when it comes to a real estate transaction is the closing costs, because both the buyer and the seller we have to cover some of the closing costs. However, some of those costs, such as title fees, escrow fees, and transfer fees, can be negotiated in many instances. So a buyer may request that you pay a portion of their closing costs. So those are things that can be really, really sketchy. So make sure you make it right. So on top of that, you might have some, after the inspection is done, you might have some requests from your potential client that repairs needs to be done around your property. Well, it determines what kind of contract you're using, determines what options you have. If it's a standard as-is contract, that means you're selling your property as is, and you don't have to, and you're not required to fix your, any potential issues. But the potential client or buyer might be asking you to come down on price so he can, do it by himself. Closing date. Closing date is a really important thing when it comes to real estate transaction. It could be negotiated as well. So some buyers that are using finances, they might need a longer period to obtain financing and do all the paperwork done. On the other side, you might have an investor who is cash ready, and he can close in couple of weeks or 3 weeks maybe from the time of the property being under contract. But you have to be aware that when it comes to cash buys, they always want to have some discount, and they usually don't pay the full asking price. So you have to take that in consideration. Another very important thing is the earnest money deposit. So pretty much when the property goes under contract, the buyer is obligated to put some earnest money deposit as a good faith that he's gonna buy that property, that he has a good intention, and he will do all the due diligence and he will do all the paperwork in order to have that property closed. So for this section of the property, of the real estate transaction, you have to have a title company. Very important thing. Now, usually in Florida, the buyer picks their title company. That means the buyer's paying them and they're working for the buyer. So the earnest money deposit will never go to you, but it will go to a separate escrow account that the title agent or the real estate attorney is going to open for you and for your property, and that money is going to be held in escrow until the time of the closing. So very important thing, but make sure you're aware how the whole process goes, and do some due diligence and read about it. So it's not anything new for you. Pretty much when it comes to the closing date, make sure that you read about how the whole closing procedure in Florida goes. So Florida is known as a wet state, or not, but what means that the closing is meaning that all the paperwork needed to officially close the loan must be completed and approved on the exact day of the loan closing. You know, and it's called the wet close because that means that while the ink is still wet, that's like metaphorically speaking, but that's so that means that all the financial transactions will be made and property ownership will officially change hands at the time of closing or within a few days after. So in Florida, buyers and sellers do not necessarily need to meet to the closing table at the same time, but they could if they wanted to. So make sure that you understand that if a potential buyer is using an agent, that you will probably still have to pay 2 to 3% commission for that real estate agent, because if you don't, the real estate agent will not be incentivized to show your property to potential clients. Now, you might be trying to save some, money on realtor fees, but this is the industry we're in, and this is how it goes. So, if you still wanna save those 3%, that might cost you even more down the road, because you are gonna be missing on a lot of potential clients that realtors might bring to you. I covered everything that I needed to say about the closing process and listing your property for sale by owner. If you guys have any questions and if you have any concerns how the whole process goes, I'll be more than happy to help you or assist you with any issues you have. So feel free to call me or contact me. My cell phone number is 386-898-4335. I am located in Sarasota, Florida. And whatever you have concerning this market, the local market, I could potentially help you and guide you through the whole process. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope I brought value to you and whoever is watching. So please like, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.